One-shot steaming piles. Doesn't really take much imagination to figure out what I mean by that, does it? But go ahead and dig on in. Well, okay, no, don't really do that. Just maybe watch, but don't play along. That's what I'd recommend. Or just don't watch at all because I'm not very good at this. That's fine too. Modern life is so fast-paced. Even after I die, I still gotta hurry up, and I still have a deadline to meet. Are you kidding me? Also, deadline. Oh! Oh! I sincerely apologize for that poor joke and my hammy acting. Welcome to my channel. Well, that did it. I'd been falling through platforms before, but the series of events just really pushed me over the edge on that one. Okay, so let me sum this up. You have a generic character. I don't know who the heck they are. They're supposed to be dead, I guess. But instead of taking the shape of the spirits that everybody else is, well, you're still remembering the body you had before you died because death, logic, blah, blah, blah. The game mechanics keep changing. So at first, let me really hit this home. In the first stages where you were having story and dialogue to read, learning the mechanics of the game, it had an active timer, which essentially is your life bar, the thing that you need to keep high in order to make it through the game. It was working actively against you. And then later on, a few stages later, it freezes the timer completely, and the only thing you have to worry about now is dodging obstacles. So they changed the mechanics. They had it so this timer wouldn't keep counting down, but it doesn't start the game where you're actually reading the story. No, it didn't do it then. Alright? Stupid cough. I'm really trying to get into a flow and rhythm here. A few stages ago, there was a door that had a timer of only a single second. That's all you needed to get through it. But however many stages later, I need 16 and a half minutes, if I'm remembering correctly. It might be even 18 and a half. So why would you put such a low obstacle only a few stages ago, when if somebody barely has enough time to actually meet that obligation, by the time they get here, they're going to hit an insurmountable barrier and they aren't going to be able to pass it? The music cut out completely. It was a little over the top anyways, kind of a generic metal, but despite being about death in general, I mean, you could argue death metal is appropriate, or it's somewhat maybe an ironic match, but the art style doesn't support it. It's so cartoony and goofy and silly. I mean, I appreciate the idea that there's multiple control schemes, but I don't understand why you can't use the W key to jump. You'd have to use the space bar. But then on the other case, with the arrow keys, you don't have to use the space bar, you just use the up key. And then, of course, for me, I use the controller. So, the one thing it got right is it has controller support. I'll give it that, but this game's a bust. And speaking of mechanics that change, the stupid platforms, in this case, that you're turning so slowly, it's mind-numbing. Especially with the way the start of the stage is, because as soon as you actually start trying to traverse anywhere, by the time you get here, you just have to sit and wait because it's facing the completely wrong direction. Or you take a forced hit and lose a little bit of time, but you can't really afford that in this stage, especially with hidden spikes. They literally hid spikes that you cannot see. No way to tell they're there. That is brilliant. And then all those confusing signs and the levels layout, wildly inconsistent. I don't want to say wildly inconsistent, that's a little bit exaggerated, but where it's not crystal clear where you need to go. So if you go to the left and down, that's going to take you to get however many spirits that you need, or the one. But if you go this way, upper right, that's going to take you to the end of the stage. So if you go there first, you're wasting time because you got to go back to the bottom left and around, and then return and go up to the upper right. So the way the stages are laid out and how the game conveys where you're supposed to go is not done well. And another thing that annoys me is with the spirit counter is that I imagine it just kept increasing, but there was not really a strong sense of consistency. It wasn't, hey, this is early stages, we only need a few. These are moderately difficult. These are really hard, so you need several. I mean, it was getting more difficult, but it just didn't seem like it was really well thought out. It's just arbitrary and ways to eat up your time. So yeah, this game is bad. And I would argue that requiring you to fall down and use your double jump ability to regain extra height, it's not that that's hard, but I don't think that's a mechanic that you should be utilizing heavily in a game. Because it is an advanced skill, and not every gamer has the same. Wow, I didn't take a single hit, if I'm remembering correctly. Yep, because I had 1234. I got all 8 spirits. I cannot get through this door. So why doesn't the game just kill me right now? I can't beat it at this point, so why even bother? Yeah, this is not a good game. I kind of like the art style as a concept, but not really here. It's not. The game is bad, so the art isn't going to be a saving grace. But as I was saying with the jump, the drop, and the double jump, that's something I would utilize rarely. It's like, oh, this is a check. Fell through the platform again. I'm pretty sure I did. But yeah, I don't know what leads to that. I don't know why there are some of these platforms that I just fall through. I want to find another one if I can. Darn it, that's the closest one, I believe. Wait, what was that? Oh, that's where you wind up going in the end? See, that's just bizarre. But I was wanting to find one of these platforms because I was noticing in earlier levels, it seemed that I was falling through them, but I was wanting to, take onus and blame myself. But it's like, oh, I must have made a mistake. I must have done something wrong. Because I assume game designers have enough care to not put in an obstacle like that that's gonna... Not an obstacle, to put in different elements of a game that's not even functional. But yeah, this game's broken. Doesn't work properly. With the platforms, doesn't let you know that you can't beat the stage no matter what you do, because you don't have enough time, even if you take no hits and get all the spirits. And earlier, when I was playtesting, I clicked on this and it took me back to the main menu, and this resets the stage. So I'm going to click this. And let me see what happens if I do this. Takes me back to the very beginning. Yeah. Another thing I wanted to point out was, oh, what was it? It was something really basic. Oh, what was it? Oh! In that last stage I just came from, not at the very beginning of the game, the one when I reset. It was very strange to me because I had no idea with the teleporting platforms. I had no sense of the stage direction or the over. I couldn't visualize what the entire stage looked like. So when I jumped to the left just as a lark, I was very surprised to find that I was actually going to the very end of the stage. That was confusing. And I think with a platformer game, unless you're using puzzle mechanics or really changing things up, it should be very clear where you're going at any given point. And not that you're going to memorize a stage, but I think experienced gamers should have a general sense of, okay, I've been going up for a long while, so, you know, they just, experienced gamers, as they traverse a stage, they get a general sense of direction. And some of us have it better than others. With RPGs and map progression, I don't tend to do too well. With platformers, I do much better, I think, but with the fireworks, it's near Independence Day. But yeah, in this game, no sense of where I've been going, or there's just no way to tell. But yeah, even when I went back to the very title screen, it didn't reactivate the music. So that's, again, another bad sign. The music is completely dead. There's no way to bring it back at all. But anyways, those are my thoughts on this game. It's really bad. It doesn't play well. Not fun. Not fully functional. So, another one-shot. Thought it might not be the best game in the world. Was hoping for better than this. Oh well, too bad. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed, folks. And I'll see you around later. And as always, fruit and doggy.